Hello, I'm back for another quick gameplay. Sorry I've been in communique for a while. I've been working a lot, and honestly, I've been playing some other games. Haven't had too many good ones to record. I've also been playing a lot of Overwatch recently, because it's the holiday event right now. Love me Overwatch. So, I'm back for another quick gameplay. I'm playing against Tymna plus Thrasios, the classic non-red combo. So this is the substitution. Instead of using Atraxa, Tymna and Thrasios seem to be the premier control partner colors. So because Thrasios is amazingly good value, and Tymna gives other options like Vindicate, Swords to Plowshares, Yogg-Will, and very good control cards. And most of the time I see this deck, it's basically Bug Splash White. So I have a slightly greedy opening, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to try it. Mystic Roar is pretty good, especially against what is almost always a control deck. I'm playing Rashmi, of course, so I'm going to keep this, and this, I was trying to do a live gameplay, and the video ended up being like 45 minutes, and I decided I'm not going to upload it. So I cleared that video, and I just wanted to record this gameplay because it's just so fantastic to see. And I'm going to pull up the chat here just so you can follow along in case. Let me drag that down so I give a little bit extra space. So I win. I'm not going to go with Remora 1 because I don't want to have to commit all of my mana to it the first couple turns. Plays Preordain. He probably wouldn't have played that if I played Remora, so fair enough. Pick up Gush. So I'm going to run out the Signet here. My opponent goes with Nature's Lure into Savannah, into Nature's Claim, my Signet. Alright, so my greedy hand looks pretty bad now. I pick up Forest, thankfully. I'm going to run the Remora out and just ship the turn back. Opponent goes with Command Tower into Thrasios. Makes sense. He can play it out underneath the Remora and start getting value. I'm going to pay with the Forest. Got to keep it going. Pick up Cure. That's no help. My opponent untaps, plays no land, and just ships back. I'm going to pay again. Pick up a Tymna, and my curve is really starting to hurt me now. That I play a couple higher things in this deck. And I've been back and forth about the Cures. Honestly, this one's okay. I don't know if I'm going to keep the other one in this deck. Activates Thrasios, gets Yogg-Will. Well, that's a hit if I've ever seen one. Gets a Strip Mine. And this Strip Mine, if your opponent's been stalled on lands for 2 turns, paying into Remora, hasn't played a land though, don't you think you would want to Strip Mine that island? That sole solitary island? This is the second game that I played against A0317D. The first game, it was total blowout for me. I went like turn 2 Nature's Lore, turn 3 Crypt into Tymna, freeze your blue-black source, the Temple of Deceit. Turn 4, freeze your blue-black source again, Acidic Slime your forest, and the game was over. He never made it past 3 lands, and then I had Tymna plus Slime in back-to-back turns, and he conceded. So he clearly sees that leveraging lands is a way to win the game. I mean, I won last game because I leveraged my opponent's rocky mana start, especially in a 4-color deck. Like, it just, playing 4 colors just tells me to target your mana base if I have the option. I'm going to let Remora go just because I need to. If I pick up an island, I could go with Sower into Thrasios, at least eat a counterspell, or Kiora and freeze Thrasios and tick her up, and then have 2 turns to tick her down to try to get more lands going. So I needed the chance of hitting being able to play a 4-drop there. He activates Thrasios. I believe he gets a land. Yep, Creeping Tar Pit. Pretty good. Plays a Temple. Let me clear the Creeping Tar Pit so you can keep an eye on what we know about. In comes Thrasios, and ships turn. I hit Ponder. This has been 2 turns he hasn't used Strip Mine to destroy my island. Both times he's had the mana to use Thrasios and still have activated Strip Mine. And I mean, he's leaving it up this turn as well. If he had stripped this island, this Ponder's dead. And you'll see what Ponder gets me here. I hit 3 visits, 3rd card down. So he would have had 2 more turns to activate Thrasios before I got anything that I could play. So I'm going to go get Breeding Pool. I'm going to leave it tapped. And my hope here is that he goes for Strip Mine now that he realized his mistake, and I can get in with the Gush. I mean, ideally I'd like that to happen on my turn, so then I can replay one of the lands. gets a Bayou off Thrasios, and you'll notice, not that time, he seems to start prioritizing hitting lands with Thrasios over getting draw. And maybe that's the correct way to play Thrasios. We'll have to see. So, tap Strip Mine, gets a Farseek. And he's got such an incredible mana advantage, and he doesn't think to leverage it. I can't possibly fathom what's going on here, that Strip Mine's not hitting my blue sources. I hit Sylvan, and I have Legacy Allure. Now he's got to answer both of these cards. Alright, so activates Thrasios, hits Trinket Mage. That's pretty good. Unravel the Aether, and the target is Legacy Allure. Not the card that draws me 2 cards a turn. And if he had targeted Sylvan Library here, he would have won the game. There's no way I come back from this game without Sylvan Library feeding me cards. He's got no clock on. 1 damage is not a clock. Without paying 4 mana into it effectively. He's got no real clock against me. He can't leverage the disadvantage of Sylvan Library against me. And it's going to draw me out of this mana hole. And it just stays. I believe Sylvan Library stays on the board almost the entire game, if not the entire game. It's a lot of turns in this game. Goes with Ashiok. Well, I need pressure against that Ashiok. We're going to have to find a way. I pick up. I'm going to take 8. I do some quick math in my head. Realize that I can try for Kiora. If she resolves, which she does, I can use her as a cycle to get an additional land drop here. With Thornward Falls, pick up an extra life, and play a Forest. So she bought me an extra land drop there. I know that she's going to die to Thrasios, but it's just getting me my lands into play. Mystical Teachings, going and getting Counterspell, with only 1 land open. So that's why Kiora resolved. He realized that it's not a threat. Oops, sorry, I just jumped quite a few turns. Alright. So I pick up more cards off Sylvan. I pick up Negate, Preordain, and land, I believe. And I go for Soul of Temptation targeting Thrasios. He responds with Diabolic Edict. Then I go for no, I didn't go for Rashmi. I went for I tried to negate the Diabolic Edicts, trying to draw out this counterspell, and he uses Teachings to counter my negate and draws 2 cards off of it. I use Preordain and ship the turn. Sorry about that. He's going to bog me. Alright, that's fine. I have nothing of value there. Ashiok me again. And I'm going to pop out this Exile just so you can keep track. Ashiok's hit a whole lot of nothing. I mean, it's taken away Mazavith, Seed of the Synod, like rocks. It hit Mystical Tutor. I guess that's something, but it has not done a good job. That is, I don't play a lot of creatures in my deck anyway, so the fact that Ashiok can Mind Twist me in 2 turns is the bigger issue. So I pick up Kiora and Spell Pierce. Well, Spell Pierce is bad about this much amount of mana, so I'm going to put that back on top and feed it to Ashiok, and this might be a mistake here, and I make this mistake twice this game, and you'll see why. So I look at my mana, decide I'm going to go for Gilded Lotus this turn, and I think for a sec, realizing when I put Gilded Lotus on the stack that I would have rather had those 2 cards that are useless in my hand to feed to Forbid, instead of feed to Ashiok, and just let Ashiok eat cards off the top. I go for Rashmi, she resolves, but he's got removal before I can gush on my opponent's turn and get that free Kiora into play off the gush. That's fine. Alright, so she ate 1 piece of removal. Thrasios hits Underground Sea, and I think he activates Thrasios again here. Yep. Hits his own Kiora, the Crashing Wave. Ashiok eats my Spell Pierce, Kiora, and Coast. Yavi Coast. Activate Yogwell. Alright, so let's pop out this Yard. Pops the Yogwell. Let's see what he's going to have value for. Got a ton of mana in play. I have to answer Ashiok. He's in great shape here. So, creature removal's dead. I've got to assume Nature's Claim and Unravel the Aether are hitting my 2 things. He's going to kill Gilded Lotus, I have no doubt. He's going to kill Sylvan Library, right? So first up, Nature's Claim, my Gilded Lotus. Okay. Play Ramp Spell. Alright, well that only costs 1 mana if you do it first. Fine, Breeding Pool. Play Farseek. Okay, ramp some more. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's purposely leaving up Thrasios plus Counterspell instead of dealing with my draw 2 extra cards per turn. He has Unravel the Aether right here to remove my Sylvan Library, and selects not to. He's got the green mana. It's his last green mana, but he has it, and for some reason that decision's not made. I cannot possibly imagine. I hit Venser. What a hit. Frantic Search, Counterspell. So I'm going to keep the Counterspell, take 4, and that was probably a mistake as well. I should just continuously keep drawing, but you'll see how close it comes towards the end of the game. So it works out that not taking the 8 previous turn for this turn was actually correct. Venser resolves, bounces Ashiok, just to save my hand a turn. I'm going to Gush because I don't have a land drop this turn, and I want to get into some of the cards. So I'm going to run Acidic Slime out, it resolves, and I'm going to take out this Tar Pit. So that way, if I ever resolve Planeswalkers, I don't have to worry about them being threatened by a land. He is going to Flashback Teachings in response. So he keeps up the mana for Teachings also. Counterspell plus Thrasios or Teachings. And Teachings is going to go get Void Slime. Alright, so he's stocking his hand with answers, but he has no clock on board. And this is one of the classic errors of control decks is you want these answers, yes, but you want them to be keeping you in control while you win the game. You're not winning the game with a 1-3. I'm going to promise you that. I mean, you're going to get a ton of value out of your 1-3, but it does not close out the game on its own. You need something that physically beats me. Because I'm not going to concede to a board state like this. And some people might after seeing counter, but I'm not the type who's going to concede. He's going to Deluge for 2. Thrasios has no damage. Cultivate, get some lands. We'll clear them. Show what I know about. Replays Ashiok. Ashiok's me for no value. Close out the graveyard. QR crashes in. I'm going to close out the command zone as well. Make the board a little bit larger for you to see. Alright, Thrasios doing some work. And let me make this a little bit easier for you guys to manage. Alright, so that's what I know about. That's much better. Sylvan finds me Jace, Think Twice, Forest. I'm going to put the Forest back. And the reason I'm taking 4, at least 4, as many times as I can, is the turn that you don't take 4, the following turn Sylvan Library draws you no new cards. It loses its advantage the turn that you don't take new cards and you don't see new cards. So or see 2 new cards at least, because you're always going to see 1 new card with your draw step because it's 3 cards, and you're only ever putting 2 back. But if you put 2 back, you're only seeing 1 new card, which you would normally see off your draw step. You want to see at least 2 new cards every single time, with very few exceptions, which is why I should have taken at least 4 that turn that I was talking about having an extra card for Forbid. I'm going to Jace, try to bait out one of the counters, it resolves. I see Temple of Mystery on top of my opponent's deck. I don't want to -1 because he can Void Slime Jace's ability, then hit Jace down to 1. It just feels too risky. Jace is going to be useful for me. So, I'm going to leave it on top, and this is when I realize he's prioritizing lands above actual spells. He puts Temple of Mystery into play instead of on the bottom from the ability. Tap some mana, play Trinket Mage, go get Ring, play Ring, play Kiora land, crash into Jace. So now Jace is saving me life, even because I'm paying it with Sylvan Library, so he saved me 1 so far, gained 1 there. I'm going to Frantic Search because I can Frantic Search into Think Twice. Pitch land, Think Twice, untap lands, Think Twice, pick up Nature's Claim, decide not to use it on the Soul Ring yet. I'd rather potentially need it for Forbid. Pick up Temporal and Mana Crypt, and this is where the game starts to turn around. So I know that Temporal Manipulation is going to do good for me. Play land, play Crypt, and I've got enough mana to Forbid and Temporal. I'm going to Fabricate for Shackles because I know he has to answer Shackles. Run Shackles out. There's the counterspell. Alright, that eats up 1. I could counter back, but I really want to be able to protect Temporal instead of try to protect Shackles. I'm going to run Tymna out. Maybe she'll bait something. Doesn't. Freeze the Trinket Mage, keep Jace alive. I'm going to Jace draw, put back land Rampant Growth, Keep the command tower because it's the better land. It produces blue. Bunch of mana. Activate Thrasios. Activate Thrasios. Gets Ewit Temporal. Let's clear these two of what we know about. Let me widen this. There we go. Alright, so we know about 6 cards. Ashiok eats some cards. Gets Garruk. Relevant. Not really. Goes with Teferi. 3 Planeswalkers in play. Uses Tectonic Edge instead of killing my land, plays Nihil Spellbomb, plays Eternal Witness, and goes for Counterspell. And if he had gone and gotten Mystic Confluence, I probably would have conceded to that. Because it says double mana leak plus bounce Eternal Witness, so you can recur the loop every turn. And he decides not to go for this, and I'm not quite sure why. So, goes for the cheaper of the 2 Counterspells. I mean, you got the mana, just build the loop at this point. Because at the very least it says pay 6 for my spell or have a counterspell of my own. Thrasios in, deal some damage, pay some mana, putrefy my crypt. Alright, well I'm not going to take damage off it then. And activate Spellbomb, and this is another mistake. He's just trying to draw cards at this point, and I can understand it, but I know he's got 2 counterspells in his hand, Counterspell plus Void Slime. So you don't need to draw cards. Like, you actually have Clock in play, you have Planeswalkers. If you get Teferi Emblem, I will lose the game to that because you'll go to QR Emblem as well, with almost no downtime. So, using the Spellbomb here is absolutely a mistake, and you'll see why in a sec. So I've got him almost tapped down. He's at 6 mana, and that's as low as I think I'm ever going to get him. So now's a chance for me to go to it. I put back Birds and Sanctum, and I realized that was a mistake also. Play land. Alright, so let's try Temporal Manipulation. Here comes Counterspell. Alright, clear the Counterspell. I'm going to counter back. Tap all 4 mana for a blue Cryptic Command. Forbid, and I think for a second realized that I would have liked to pitch Botanical Sanctum, Nature's Claim, and keep the Tezzeret around, but I gotta Forbid, and I want to have buyback. And I still feel good about this Amnesia. It's going to be what I need. Tezzeret only gets me mana now that Shackles is gone. The deck is every artifact in the deck is mana with the exception of Shackles. Here is no, that's the let me pull up the list real quick. So collection. So you'll notice Gilded Lotus, Shackles, mana, and the 2 artifact lands are in there as well. Seed of the Sun has been exiled to Ashiok though. So Gilded Lotus is gone. It gets me Thought Vessel, Sol Ring, Sensei's Top, and Manifold as the things that Tezzeret gets me. I mean, it'd be nice to have him to get Manifold, Sol Ring, and then start using him as a 5 mana ritual every turn, but I don't need him that much. So I'm going to Forbid, it resolves, no force or daze, and I get an extra turn. And that was all of my mana, but I have an extra turn. We still know he has Void Slime in hand as well. I'm at 16 life. I'm going to Jace Storm before I end my turn. Put back Ewit and Birds. I know I'm going to draw them on my turn. Pick up Birds, pick up land Ewit. I'm going to pay 4. I'm going to pay 8 life, go down to 8. Freeze the Trinket Mage. And here's where the chain starts. So I'm going to Ewit back Temporal. Take an extra turn again. So this is I'm on my first extra turn, going to my second. Play Birds. Play Sakura, activate Jace, see I have land regrowth. Regrowth will regrow that Temporal Manipulation. So I'm going to put back the 2 tap lands, Sanctum and Growth Chamber, and use Tri-Belder to move them away. Get Sensei's Top and Oracle land. So I'm going to put back top land, regrowth Temporal, cast Temporal, realize I have exactly enough to cast Rashmi, freeze Ewit, attack Teferi down to 4. Yay, wonderful. You win after taking a zillion turns. Actually, I'm on my 3rd extra turn. I've only time stretched at this point. I'm going on to my 4th. Teferi is going to die. Oracle is going to get me some value. I'm not at the point of Tymna Ultimate, though, which is the drawback, because I did Tymna draw one of those turns. And it was probably, I don't know if I needed to. If I didn't, I might have been close to Tymna Ultimate. She would have been at 7, gone up to 8. Next turn, she would have been 1 turn away, but all of his things would be, all of his creatures were frozen / blockable. and there's no way he can deluge again without killing Rashmi, without killing Thrasios as well. So the chance of me getting a Tymna ultimate's pretty high, and after that, I have Forbid. So, overall, I definitely enjoyed this game. My opponent concedes here. Let me jump the turn ahead. There you go. Game is ended. Keep flying wins. I hope you enjoyed the gameplay overall. I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video if you enjoyed the content. I really want to share this video overall because, hey, it's 4 colors, super control match. I win on turn 17, and honestly, like, he made quite a few misplays. Missing the strip mine plus tech edge plays are probably the most prominent in my head. Not clocking me with the caring more about Thrasios instead of clocking me with the creeping tar pit was probably incorrect as well. And the Eternal Witness getting Mystic Confluence instead of the counterspell was probably the correct play as well. And I know about the Void Slime in his hand at that point. So, he got greedy. He played too many of his spells. He used Teferi up instead of Teferi down to keep extra mana open. Sometimes games come down to as much as that. Alright, see you all in the next one now.